All right, JFK Files. Old Billy Root Beer Float. Oh, I love a root beer float. I love a root beer float. I never get them because I don't want to be a fat fuck. Oh, the Cowboys throw a pick six. Wow. Oh, was that a pick six? No, it wasn't. They didn't throw a pick six. That was actually an offensive play. Why did that guy look like a cornerback to me? Is Kansas City going to do it this year, everybody? Is Andy Reid finally going to bring a team to the promised land and hoist the trophy? It's up in the air this year. Which, once again, you look how bad the fucking Giants are. I don't understand how you have a coach, how you have a GM, how you have these guys in place that got you trophies, Super Bowl trophies, plural, and you get rid of them. It's like the Red Sox with fucking Theo Epstein and, fucking Terry Francona. We get rid of those guys, and then literally there's a World Series with Theo Epstein's Cubs and Terry Francona's fucking Indians last year. I just don't understand it. It's almost like morning radio. Like, morning radio is another thing that I watch, and I just see these great shows, and the two hosts end up inevitably hating each other, and then the great show goes away, and I'm not just talking about the one that I did. It happens all the time, and I think that that's just what happens. It's nobody's fault. It's just, I don't know. The same way, after a while, you're like, even though you have shirts, you want a new shirt. I think people do that with, like, relationships, and that's what's so fucked up about marriage. It's that same goddamn shirt. And as much as you're looking at your wife going, that's that same old shirt, you got to understand you're a fucking old shirt too. All right? And the two of you have to hold on to each other until God takes you to Goodwill. All right, JFK. So stupid. All right, JFK Files. Old Billy Root Beer Float. Oh, God damn it, I love a root beer float. I'm sure you have heard that the JFK Files, or some of them, have been released. And as a fellow conspiracy theorist, I thought this might interest you. Dude, they're not going to release anything. If somebody else really did it and they actually know who did it, they're not going to be like, all right, I think it's safe to tell you that the guy who really did it was not named Lee Harvey Oswald. His name was Larry. Fucking whatever, the Larry Fellowship. In one of the files, the CIA states that it planned bombings in Miami to kill innocent people so that they can blame it on Fidel Castro. Now that there is undeniable proof that the CIA isn't above killing innocents to get their way, does that change your views on any other conspiracy theories? I know how much you suck at reading, so I attached the link with the actual snippet of what I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to see that was, you know what's interesting? I just clicked on that, and all of a sudden, I'm not hooked up to the internet. How weird is that? I was hooked up into the internet until I tried to look at this fucking thing. Now, I'm basically taking your word that that's actually what happened. If that is, in fact, the case, okay, we could develop a communist Cuban terror campaign in the Miami era, in other Florida cities, and even Washington. The terror campaign could be pointed at Cuban refugees seeking haven in the United States. We could sink a boatload of Cubans en route to Florida, real or simulated. What the fuck? Real or simulated? In other words, they own enough, they could just say it happened, and how do people know it didn't? We could foster attempts on lives of Cuban refugees in the United States, even to the extent of wounding in instance. What? Even to the extent of wounding in instances to be widely publicized, exploding a few plastic bombs in carefully chosen spots. Well, this doesn't sound like they're going to fucking kill fellow Americans. I think that they're going to kill Cuban refugees here. Exploding a few plastic bombs in carefully chosen spots, the arrest of Cuban agent, and the release of prepared documents substantiating Cuban involvement also would be helpful in projecting the idea of an irresponsible government. Yeah, none of that's surprising. I mean, is that really surprising? If you just sort of fucking pay attention and just even remotely try to read between the lines, yeah, we're not as good as we act like we are. But I'm also not going to then glorify Fidel Castro like he was this fucking saint. But, I don't think it's crazy to say that, we were more upset with Fidel Castro, not because he was, a communist. It was probably more because he wouldn't let us develop his country the way we saw fit. And by we, I don't mean the average fucking person walking down the street. I'm talking about the corporations. And I don't think that policy has changed, and I'm not going to get on a fucking stump here, but I don't think that has changed at all. And currently, that philosophy has bankrupted this country, and I don't know what's going to happen. And that's all really heavy shit. And I remember reading something that J. Edgar Hoover allegedly said, even if they do figure it out, it's so fucking overwhelming and depressing, they won't want to think about it. And that's where I get to. So I just go to Milwaukee, and I get a brat, and I have a good time, and I be the dancing monkey that I am, and I just hope that the lie is able to sustain itself. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know. Yeah, so that's great. So that's why I kind of backed away from conspiracy theory, because you don't want to be right, even remotely. Oh, that's right. I got to promote this. I am going to be in New York City, okay? And I will be doing a special, top secret show that I'm not even promoting on my website. I'm just promoting here on my podcast. Unless, of course, we don't sell the place out, then we'll open it up to everybody else. But this is your reward for listening to my podcast, all right? I'm going to be at a new comedy club that's in New York City. It's called the West Side Comedy Club. And you can I guess you can get tickets at their website, which is they're not live yet, so relax. All right? They're going to go live Monday, November 6th, which should be the day you're listening to this, even though I'm taping it on the 5th. Monday, November 6th at noon Eastern Time. And I will be performing at the West Side Comedy Club on Sunday, November 12th. So tickets go on sale Monday, November 6th. And the show is at 8 o'clock. It's Sunday, November 12th at the West Side Comedy Club, which is at 201 West 75th Street. And I think that's it. All right. So check that out. It's a perfect sized place. It looks awesome. It's right next to the Beacon Theater. It's a little 100-seat thing. I'm going to be doing about 45 minutes, trying out some new shit, fucking around, having a good time. Keeping the hour tight. And that's it. It's a couple friends of mine that are owning and running the club from my days way back. We're going back to like the Boston Comedy Club and that type of shit. So anyways, check that out if you got a chance. And is that everything that I want to talk about? I think so. Can we go into the questions for the week? How long into this podcast? Oh, 39 minutes. Okay, that's perfect. That is perfect. I think I could run my mouth for another. Dude, what the fuck was LSU doing against Alabama? I know it's Alabama because they dropped more goddamn passes. They actually had a highlight reel of them fucking up passes, blowing opportunities. I'll tell you, I got to be asking myself, how good is the Alabama Crimson Tide considering they're playing in a much weaker SEC than we've seen in years? Who knows? But I'll tell you why they're great. Because even though that they were winning easily against LSU for most of the game, Nick Saban was still getting pissed, screaming and yelling. He knows. He sees enough drop passes. He's like, well, if they caught that and they caught that, this game could be this. You don't get credit because they dropped it. You get credit if you knock it down. Then he feels like we're playing good defense. That is why. That guy's the shit. But it will be interesting to see. Because a few weeks ago, it looked like Penn State was world beaters. Now they've lost 2 in a row. Ohio State looked like they were coming on. Then they got the living There was a live shit in them, and it was kicked out of them. They got to feel a lot lighter after this past weekend.